Hi, everybody, and welcome to Things in My Head. I'm Angel Birch, your host. This is our live event via Google+. We've had kind of a learning curve today with Google+. If you're listening to us on the podcast, then you can go to YouTube because we're going to be posting this event on YouTube after the fact. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to join us live, but that's okay because we're going to have a really good show today. We are talking still about New Year's resolutions, and this week is going to be all about blogging. You know, if your New Year's resolution was to start one, if it was to monetize your blog, if you were looking to be a bigger force on social media, or if you are just looking for ways to move forward with your blog, then this is the show for you because we're going to be talking to three wonderful women who have blogs on the internet. We're going to introduce them to you in just a minute. If you're listening to the podcast, you've got a commercial right now, so we'll be back right after this.
Hey bloggers, do you want to expand your readership? Maybe you have a special event or giveaway you want to promote. Podcast commercials are a dynamic way to reach out to your audience. Consider the power of podcast for your blog. Email Feathers Everywhere Productions at podcastcommercials@gmail.com and get noticed.
And we are back with Things in My Head. I really want to thank you for joining us on this special live event. Now, I have to let you know that I am at home, so you guys might hear some noises in the background. I have puppies, and there's a highway, and planes, and all kinds of stuff. We're not in the sound booth. I'm at home, as you can see in the background. Just wanted to let you know that Google Plus has been a real challenge for us today. If you've ever done a hangout with Google Plus, if you've ever invited people, you know, into a public hangout or an on-air hangout, it's quite a bit of a learning curve. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I want to introduce to you my guests today. Today we have with us three of the most wonderful women that I have ever had the pleasure of meeting. Renee Partain is going to join us a little bit later on FaceTime. She was unable to join us in the chat. She still may be able to a little bit later. We hope so. We're going to give her every opportunity to do that so that you guys can see who she is. But she is the writer of ReginaAtTheLake.com. She is also the owner of Bridgeport Lake Bed and Breakfast. And those of you who listen to my podcast will have heard her commercial on our podcast, and that's her. She's going to be with us today. We also have with us Renee Weatherford, and you'll recognize Renee because she was actually on our show not that long ago. She is the organizing expert at RenewYourSpace.com, and you've also heard her commercial on our website, on our podcast. If you remember Amy, who is the most disorganized person in the whole world, that's who Renee is. And we also have with us today Sarah Hatter. Now, Sarah is one of those people that I can't look at her blog too often because I would get fat. She is a wonderful cook, a wonderful baker. Her blog is wholeandheavenlyoven.com, and she makes the most wonderful baked goods. Her and her mother could probably open their own restaurant with all of the baked goods that they do and all of the food that they do, and it's just her website just makes you want to drool. So we're going to let these women join this conversation right now. Hi, ladies. How are you doing?
This is Renee.
Hi, Renee. Okay, I still haven't heard Sarah check in. But,
hi, can you hear me?
There she is. There she is. Hi, Sarah. Okay, and Regina is going to be checking in with us in just a few minutes. But anyways, guys, this has been crazy, this whole Google Plus thing. Have any of you done Google Plus Hangouts on air before?
I have not.
I haven't either.
Yeah, this is. I don't know that I would ever do this again. I think it wore me out. And I'm not looking at the camera right now because I'm having to do a bunch of stuff on the screen. But I think we're just going to relax and we're going to talk a little bit about blogging. Now, Renee, I want to ask you, how long have you been blogging at RenewYourSpace.com?
I started sometime in 2009, so it's going on 5 years.
5 years of always organizing, always about your profession?
Yeah, I started out doing my organizing when I was actually physically going out to people's homes and organizing them. And now my blog has kind of changed. I've become an organizing consultant. Okay. So I do everything online now, and I've kind of changed my blog along the way.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because I noticed, like, especially at the new year, about January, people start changing the face of their blog and how it looks and that sort of thing. Sarah, how long have you been blogging?
I have been blogging for just over a year.
Okay.
So I haven't been doing this all that long.
That's okay. Hey, people at different levels are going to be able to contribute. You're going to be able to contribute things that maybe we haven't thought of, because it's been a while since we've, it's been 5 years for Renee. I know that Regina, it's been a little while for her too. And for me, I have had other blogs. This particular blog, Things in My Head blog, has only been around for just coming up on 7 months. And I do want to let our listeners know and our viewers know that you can go to www.thingsinmyheadblog.com, and we are going to have a written part of our blog about this show. So we're going to have the highlights on the blog. So first of all, I want to take this this whole idea of blogging. What made you start in the first place, Sarah? You're newest to the blogging world. Tell us what made you just decide to jump in with both feet.
Well, I always enjoyed looking at other food blogs, and it just seemed like something that would be really fun to learn how to do and beneficial as well. So I kind of just jumped in with both feet. And
how have you found it?
I'm sorry?
How have you found it? Do you really enjoy it, or is it a struggle?
Yeah.
Or?
Well, it's been tough, yeah, but I have really enjoyed it.
How are you getting your viewers?
Most of my viewers come from social sites like Pinterest, Facebook, places like that.
Okay. Do you do Twitter at all?
Not so much as other social media sites. I haven't really found that a lot of my traffic comes from there. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Twitter is kind of one of those things, you're either on it all the time or you're not. I mean, that's what we found anyway. We don't, we personally, we, meaning me and whoever else I get to tweet for me, we don't spend a lot of time on Twitter in person, really. I think we do a feed through our Facebook page. Renee, how about you? What made you decide to get started in blogging?
I'm a writer. I just love to write. So I thought at first I would just, start the blog just to get some ideas out there, and then I combined it with my business because it just made sense to have a niche. So, I love to write.
Oh, awesome. Do you write for other things other than your blog, too?
I do. I've done some, other women's networks, and I've done some local things. So.
Okay. Yeah. And how have you found getting viewers? Has it been an uphill climb for you?
Yeah. At first, I was just surprised that people would want to read my blog. And then I started, in with the social networks, which, 5 years ago, it was just starting, really. Right. So my biggest ones have been Pinterest, and I'm just getting into Instagram, and it's growing pretty rapidly. So.
Really? Now, see, I think you and Sarah, are you on Instagram?
Not at this moment, actually, because I don't have a device that has a camera on it.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I'm looking into it.
Instagram, is that videos, Renee, or is that...
yeah, you really have to have like a smartphone to do it, and it's mostly pictures, but you can add video too.
Okay. We're going to try one more time to get Regina on the phone with us. Renee, while I'm trying to do this, can you kind of explain what kinds of things are we going to actually find on your blog?
I do a lot of productivity tips. I just started I'm doing consulting, so anything about organizing, and a lot of forms. I love to create forms that will help you get organized in your day planner, things like that. One of my favorite things is the file of facts, which is kind of like really trendy right now. So I create a lot of those things and give access for them to download.
Okay, so we are getting Regina on the phone. Sarah, while I'm answering this phone with Regina, what is your blog about? Because we didn't really explain that to our viewers and our listeners. What are we going to find at holeandheavenlyoven.com?
Well, like the name suggests, Hole in the Heavenly Oven is a food blog that I run, and you'll just find recipes, kitchen tips.
I just talked to Regina. She is on FaceTime with us. I don't know if you guys can see her on here, but she is on FaceTime with us. Regina, I'm just going to catch her up, guys. Regina, we were just talking about how long we've been blogging, what we're going to find at our blogs, and are we having trouble with traffic? You know, that sort of thing. What sources are we finding our traffic at? So maybe you could answer, at least tell us how long you've been blogging at Regina at the Lake. I'm going to put her over here.
Okay. I've been blogging since May. I started about the middle of May, just doing it sporadically for a couple of weeks, and then decided that I needed to probably be a little more consistent, so I did it once a week. And then in July, I decided to bump it up to 6 days a week. And so I blog, I have a montage Monday where I blog about just about anything I want, but that usually includes some recipes and tips and what's happening at the lake. And I do true love stories, jewelry design, thrifty
Busy
tips.
lady.
Busy, yes.
Regina, where are you finding most of your traffic comes from?
That's a really good question and a little bit difficult to define at times. I do have an audience kind of all over the world. I'm just amazed at the places in the world where folks are following us from. But I think a lot comes, of course, from the Google groups that I'm in. I mean, from the blogging groups I'm in. I'm in about 4 or 5 blogging groups. And then also I get some in from Twitter and Pinterest. And then, I just think people are, sharing the word a little bit. We get between 100, on average, 150 to 200 page views a day. So, I mean, we're nothing huge yet, but we're coming along.
So, here's the thing. We were talking about how Google Plus was such a bear to get on to do this chat. How many of you have ventured into the Google Plus zone, and how have you found it? Because I'm thinking, I'm not leaving Facebook anytime soon.
For me, I started a book club with my blog, and Google Plus has been great. We did a hangout. We have been doing hangouts weekly, and it's really great to be able to see each other and, have kind of a roundtable discussion with voices and faces. So it's been good that way. We haven't recorded anything, which I think is the problem here. But
Right. The Google Air has been the biggest learning curve for me, I think. But what about you, Sarah? Have you ventured into Google Plus zone?
I have not been brave enough to get into that yet. It seems like really complicated to me, but I'm not a techie person, so.
Yeah, I'm thinking I need to be more of a techie person too, and I used to actually fix computers. What about you, Regina? Have you been on the Google Plus zone? Have you ventured in?
Very little. I've watched a hangout the other day. I had my time wrong, so I didn't actually get to watch it live, but I watched some of it recorded. And so I'm really not comfortable in that zone yet. I have a pretty steep learning curve, I think.
I'm thinking my learning curve is probably steeper than yours.
Well, and my learning curve is compounded by the fact that I just got a new Windows 8 computer with the newest Microsoft programs on it. So my learning curve is just a mess at the moment.
So poor Regina is in computer hell right now.
Yes.
Regina, while we've got you on the phone with us, I do, excuse me, I do want to check with you about what has been your biggest challenge with your blog?
Good question. Probably just, growing that audience. I really enjoy the writing, and so I don't really struggle so much with what to blog about. That's come fairly easily because of the way I've structured my blog and the variety of things that I'm doing, and so I pretty much know what I have to do each day to get that up.
Right.
Sometimes getting the time to do what I need to do is an issue. So I think it's just I'm looking at the ways that I grow the blog. So I've been doing a lot of research, attending some classes, looking at how I increase it through Pinterest, through Twitter, through, one of the things I'm wanting to do fairly quickly is get into YouTube and put my tutorials on YouTube, and I'm understanding that that's a huge way to grow your blog. Well, so I'm really anxious to do that.
One of the things that we found out today, Renee and I were actually chatting a little bit earlier today, and one of the things that we found out with Google Plus is that when you start YouTube, if you get a YouTube channel at all, YouTube is now owned by Google, so it will start a Google Plus page for you. And that was frustrating because I already had a Google Plus page. In fact, I had two of them already, and one of them had been started by YouTube at some point, and we disconnected it and got that all fixed up and everything and connected it to the right page. But then when we started this event, it told me that I wasn't connected to YouTube, even though I had done a chat earlier, and we were absolutely connected. But I had to go back in, and I had to re-verify it, and I had to do all of this other stuff with YouTube to get this Google Hangout to verify that we had YouTube connected, and it created another page for me again. So then I end up having like 5 pages, which is really stupid. So if you see some pages out there with things in my head blog and there's nothing on them, that was me. Apologies. But yeah, Google Plus and YouTube. YouTube, is that a big hit with you, Renee? I know you did YouTube before at one point. Have you attempted it again?
I've never actually recorded myself on YouTube.
Okay.
It's probably one of my biggest fears. I'm not really good at doing stuff like that, but that is my goal for this year. I really, really want to start doing like tutorials and, somehow incorporate it, maybe without being on camera, but, showing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Sarah? YouTube, has that been something you ventured into?
I haven't really ventured into that yet. I'd like to, maybe sometime, though.
Yeah. Have either of you ever thought about podcasting? I know, I'm kind of unique in our group because I think I'm the only one who really does podcast. So, have you thought about that, Renee?
I would love to. I really would. I don't think my voice is really good, so, but I think it would be kind of fun.
Yeah. What about you, Sarah? You don't have a camera, so it'd probably be a little bit easier for you to podcast. What do you think? Audio only?
Yeah, I would definitely prefer audio only. I don't really like cameras that much, so. But yeah, that would be fun.
The only thing I would say, like with Sarah's blog, because her blog is so visual, how would you approach the podcast thing, really? Other than, I guess, talking about recipes, maybe?
Yeah.
Recipes, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would actually, I would listen to that one. I would listen to a podcast by Sarah. Regina, what about you? Podcasting, what do you think?
Just sounds like another learning curve at the moment.
Actually, the podcasting was easier than Google Plus, so I'm thinking.
I actually do want to add audio track to my blog. I want to be able to do it in written, audio, and visual format. And so at some point I'll be picking your brain.
Pick away. That I can do. Let's talk about Facebook a little bit, you guys. Facebook changes their I don't know what you call it, their coding every day, it seems like. Just when you figure out how to get people to view and like your page and interact on your page and what it's going to take to do that, it seems like they change the code and all of a sudden that doesn't work anymore and excuse me, you've got to figure it out again. Am I having those problems by myself over here?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that's universal for us. What it says to me is that we really have to work at driving people to subscribe to our blogs, so that we're not at the whim of Facebook or anybody else,
right.
that people are following us directly and getting it right into their email.
Renee, you were going to say something.
I found, posting questions like every day and just having interaction really kind of keeps you active with Facebook. For some reason, they have this thing. If you don't interact with your audience, you lose your viewer percentage, or I don't know how it works.
Yeah, we've interacted with a few, and we only post a few times a day, maybe 2-3 times a day. Just because this is a full-time job. But what about you, Sarah? Do you find that you're losing viewers if you don't interact with them all the time?
Yeah, it's like Renee was saying. I find that if you ask questions, that does encourage them to interact, and it encourages others to follow you.
What about pictures?
Yeah, pictures are definitely would encourage others to follow you. I've found that out anyway.
I read something the other day online, and this was just posted, I think, 2 days ago, about the Facebook coding, the way that they're changing it again. And they were saying that you used to be able just to post a picture, and you would get a lot of people seeing your page on their news feed, and they would throw it out there, and they would treat it like a post. If you upload a picture, say from your camera phone or something like that, they treat it as a picture, and people, you have to tag people pretty much for them to see it. But if you put it right on your timeline, it'll treat it like a post. Well, apparently, just the last 3 or 4 days, Facebook has changed that, and now it's no longer one picture. You have to post 2 or 3 in order for it to treat it like a post and put it in your timeline and send it out to people, to other people's timelines. And, I mean, what do you think about that, guys? Facebook changing the rules on the bloggers all the time. It seems like they really want us to pay for posts. Okay.
It's really, really annoying. They're always changing things, and it's really hard to stay ahead of, what can you do now? And I've heard that about the pictures. I haven't heard about this recent thing, but also I've heard about the links. Like if you put a link right in, your post, they're not able to see it unless you put it in the comments. So now I'm putting up pictures, and then I say the link is in the comment, and then people are seeing it.
So you're actually getting more interaction.
Yeah.
What about you, Sarah? Have you had a problem with posting pictures and people interacting just in the last few days?
Not really. I haven't noticed really any change the last few days that you were talking about.
How many friends do you have on Facebook on your blog page?
I'm just about to hit 100 actually, which is
awesome.
Pretty good considering when I just started it not too long ago.
Yeah, you started your Facebook page quite a bit later than your blog.
Yeah, I did.
So you had blog followers, and that's another thing. Do you start the blog and then immediately jump into all of the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vine, oh my gosh, Pinterest, I know that I'm missing some, stumbled upon, Tumblr. It seems like there's more every day. Do you just jump in with both feet? Obviously, Sarah, you didn't, but what did you jump in with both feet with? Just the blog?
Yeah, I was pretty focused on just the blog for the first couple of months, and a few months later I kind of got more into social media, all that, and it it wasn't until just recently, a couple months ago, that I really dove into it and started trying to put myself out there more.
Sarah, while I've got you on the line, I know that we met through a blogging group. Was that the first time that you had really interacted with other bloggers?
Yeah, actually, that was one of the first times.
How are you finding the group?
Actually, I really love the group that I'm in. Everybody is really supportive of each other, and it's just really nice.
What do you think, Renee, about the blogging groups? I know we've had our ups and downs with it.
Yeah, just getting kind of everybody to interact with each other is kind of challenging, but our group has been really great. We've had almost 100% participation, and everyone just really comes together and supports each other.
Yeah, and it wasn't always that way. I think we just lost Sarah, but it wasn't always that way. We really had to, I think we had to pull people in, right, Regina? Into our blogging group?
Oh, yes, and it seems like in each group there's just a core group that is active every day, and then a lot of folks sit on the sidelines. I have one group I'm in that honestly I'll go for days and I'm the only person posting, and that you begin to wonder, is anybody else out there?
Right. And that's frustrating.
The only thing you're seeing is yourself.
Yeah, it's frustrating because you really don't know if there's anybody else out there. In fact, we're missing one of our party today, and she has a good excuse because she actually lives in England. So it's really late for her, so she may have fallen asleep. We're kind of thinking she did. But Lisa Barton was supposed to be with us today, too, and unfortunately she's not been able to be with us. But one of the things that she did, and she had mentioned this in the blogging group that we're in, is that she actually paid to have people like her on Facebook. So what do you think about that? You see a lot of that on Fiverr.com. We'll get you 1,000 likes,
Really?
Things like that, I have to wonder about some of those likes. I have to wonder if they're spammy, if they're if they're people, just looking to kind of take over your Facebook page. There's just a lot of that happening. What do you?
May I respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead, Regina.
I think a small, dedicated audience that knows, likes, and trusts you, and is therefore going to, when you have things to present to them, they're going to be more open to that. Mm-hmm. I think that is much better than having huge numbers of people who are not connected to you. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have, 10 people and 2 of those are, willing to buy my next book kind of a thing, as opposed to 1,000 and nobody's buying it.
Right. What do you think about buying likes, Sarah? Have you ever considered that?
Actually, I have considered it. I never knew all that you were just saying about how it could be spammy. I never considered that.
I think that's the one thing I worry about. What about you, Renee? Do you worry about that? If you were buying likes, I would think that it would be spam. A lot of it would be spam.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I would trust it. I think quality is better than quantity.
Yeah, I do too, and that's kind of what Renee was saying to us. Regina was saying to us is that she would rather have 10 people, really interact with her and like her page, rather than have 600 people that she doesn't know who are quiet, or maybe went to her page just to like it. And I said that that brings us to the blog posts, the comments, because I have gone to the roundups, the Linky meetups, we've done the round robins, that sort of thing, and honestly, I get a little bit upset when they say, well, you have to like everybody in the post. If you're put in this group, you have to like 75 people, and then you have to comment on their blog. And honestly, I don't connect with 75 blogs all at once. And so if I was ever in a round robin with you and I didn't comment on your blog, it's just because I didn't connect with what you were writing. I'm sorry. It wasn't because I was being mean or I wasn't trying to participate or anything. I really did read your blog. I just didn't connect with it, and that's one of my things. I talk for a living, So when I put a comment down, it's because I really enjoyed and really connected with what you wrote about. But sometimes you just don't. So what do you do in that situation? What are you going to do when you're in a round robin or a link up party or something like that, and you just don't connect? Do you comment anyway? Because Google, if you don't make 2-line comments, Google spams it and marks it as spam and takes it off and all of that, and then you're off in the trash bin. What do you guys think?
I'll take that one.
Okay.
I think it's important. I mean, there are times that I read a blog that I don't comment.
Right.
Maybe I just cannot connect with that person, or I so totally disagree but don't feel like it's worth
Yes, and I've noticed you
online.
haven't commented on my blog lately either.
All right, girl. Sometimes I think we should comment if it's a subject maybe that, not that we didn't connect, but that we didn't. I think it's good to put, to engage in the discussion and express that point of view in a very, what's the word I want? In a very positive way. Mm-hmm. You know, not being antagonistic, but encouraging that discussion.
Right. Right. And I apologize. Everybody can probably hear my little puppy in the background. She thinks she's been locked up in the bedroom a little bit too long. Mommy thinks not, but a little bit of a difference of opinion there. So I apologize. We do hear her. So I just want to throw the same question out to Renee. What about, do you comment on blogs that you just don't connect with just because you're in a round robin or a link-up party?
Yeah, I usually try to find something in their writing that I can say something about. I try to find something I connect with. Otherwise, I have been in situations where it's like I just don't agree with anything they're saying, and I'm not obligated,
Mm-hmm. 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 Well, I know that for instance, our next post, not the one that we just posted, but coming up next Friday, and I want to encourage people to go to www.thingsinmyheadblog.com, because next week we're going to wrap up this series of New Year's resolutions, and we are going to be talking about getting back to church, because that is number 5 on the list of most made New Year's resolutions. Getting back to church and spending more time with my family is number 5. So we're going to be talking with a pastor. And I just wanted to give everybody a heads up. If you are not a Christian, that's fine. Listen to it anyway, because it's really not a religious post, even though there is some stuff mentioned in there. I do want to let you know that it's a post about what church can do for you and why people go to church, why does it help them to connect with their family, that sort of thing. So that's the plug for next week. Ladies, we only have a few minutes left, and I want to ask you one more question, because this is New Year's resolutions. What kind of New Year's resolutions did you make for your blog? Regina?
Well, for my blog, a couple of things that are fairly large for me. One is launching the videos, the YouTube and the audio. That's that's an uphill curve, but it's definitely happening. And then the other is the series that I'm doing on bulletproofing your marriage, which is leading to a book.
By the way.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so good to get that feedback. I am really enjoying it, and I'm so looking forward to compiling it all into the book. I'm really excited about that. So those are kind of two of the biggies for my blog for this year is that series and the culmination in a book, and then the launching the tutorials on YouTube.
Right. Renee, New Year's resolutions.
I want to try to reach more people that really want me, I want to find a way to put myself in front of them, the people that need my kind of help, and also to start the YouTube. I think that's probably a huge traffic, way to get your traffic. So
link to us. We're audio only, but we are on YouTube. So we're going to be looking forward to having YouTube videos from Renee about organizing and renewing your space. Sarah, what about New Year's resolutions for your blog moving forward in 2014?
Well, I have a lot of goals for this year, actually, but my biggest one would probably be to improve my photography. I just got a new DSLR camera, so hopefully
I'm thinking I
can,
drool enough already on your blog. Now you're going to make me drool more.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time, and I do apologize for all of the technical difficulties that we have had. It has been a crazy learning curve all the way around. If you are a Google Plus expert, please contact me, because I would be more than happy to sit down with you and talk about just Google Plus, because I think it warrants its own show now. But I've had a great time talking with these ladies, and I wish that we had been able to enjoy Regina's face. I'm so glad that she was able to connect with us through audio. And just to remind you that these ladies have blogs. Some of them post daily. So you do want to go to their blogs. You can see Renee Weatherford at renewyourspace.com. You can hear her commercial on Things in My Head. You can also go to Sarah Hatter's page. She is at wholeandheavenlyoven.com. And believe me, you're going to want to jump right through the screen when you see some of those goodies she has on there. And Regina Partain is at reginaatthelake.com. She also owns BridgeportLakeBnB.com. And you, again, hear her audio commercial on our podcast every week. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being with us on Things in My Head. Like I said, next week we are talking about getting back to church and spending more time with our family, wrapping up the New Year's resolutions. I just want to let you know before we go really, really quick, February is 50 ways to say I love you. So tune in then. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and we'll catch you later.